So this Sunday approaches a non-competitive county-wide event that's a part of the Music Teachers National Association. It takes place every year, and the students are assessed on their performance abilities as well as their written comprehension of music theory and their listening skills in regards to music. So next Saturday will be this event in Indian Harbor Beach. And so both students are participating in this very difficult challenge. And there are all these different levels, the top of which would qualify them for scholarships to college. Yes. So Tashini's in the first level and Zoe is approaching level 3. So we thank you for providing an audience for their pieces, and the students thank you in advance for your supportive feedback. May 18th on Saturday is our spring recital here at 3 o'clock, and that is open to the public and free to attend. And we'll have about 20 students performing from the beginning through intermediate levels. Very good. You know, the arts are often under attack in public schools, and they're in private schools as well. A lot of small schools don't even have an arts teacher, or they don't have a music teacher. And so we, as a community, need to step up into supporting the music teachers that we know, and also in terms of funding for the arts. There's a lot of band support programs, band boosters, chorus boosters at the high school level, but it's important to remember that music education starts at the foundational grades, and you can't have a high school marching band if you don't have a middle school band, because the kids, you can't give them a flute in 9th grade and say, okay, go march with this, because they won't know what to do with it. So there's on the other hand, there's a push toward STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math. Now, when they first created STEM, it was called STEAM because they put the A for the arts in STEM to make STEAM. But the A has gotten lost in a lot of those communities, a lot of conversation. And if it's there, it's about graphic design and drafting, and it's not about music, and it's not about the emotion behind the arts. And so this slide here, this graphic, I asked Beth to show. It's very popular. You might have seen it before, and it talks about what music is and why it's important to have music education at the foundational grades. That it's a science because it includes acoustics and frequencies. The volume changes, the melody and the harmony all at once are controlled through time. So it's very exact. It's also mathematical. If you've studied music, you know that there's a conversation about eighth notes. 2 eighth notes make a quarter note, 2 quarter notes make a half note, 2 half notes make a whole note. And then that changes when you're out of 3/4 time, you're into you're out of 4/4 time and you're into 3/4 time because you have dotted half notes that get 3 beats. And a lot of kids are taking music at ages 4, 5, and 6, and they don't get fractions or money until age 7. So we're teaching music, but we're also teaching math, and we're forming those neurological connections through an emotional topic that kids get involved with. And we're teaching intrinsic motivation, which they might not have for mathematics, the class, but they might have for music. Does that make sense? Music is a foreign language. Most of the terms are in Italian, German, or French, and the notation is certainly not in English, but it's a highly developed kind of shorthand that uses symbols to represent ideas. The semantics of music is the most complete and universal language. Also, many songs we study are from other cultures. So music class is a place that we encourage empathy because we're learning about the music from China, from India, from the Native Americans, from Africa, and they're bringing it all into the elementary classroom. So the students are understanding cultural and multiculturalism in a way that they're not ready to technically, right? They're not going to listen to the news about Gaza, but they might learn a song from Israel. Does that make sense? And also, when you say to a student something like, you're going to go from a 1-5-1 chord progression in the key of A minor. What? Is that even English? Who understands what I just said? But it's a language that I can say, I can give that chord progression to somebody in China or Russia or Africa, and they'd be able to replicate it if they are a musician. So it's an international language. Music is physical education. It requires fantastic coordination of the fingers, hands, arms, lip, cheek, facial muscles, in addition to extraordinary control of the diaphragm, the back, the stomach, the chest, and they all respond instantly to the sound that the ear hears and the mind interprets, right? So music, playing a musical instrument, is forming neurological connections which grow the fastest before age 10. So that sets up the brain to function in a way that it's going to function for the child's whole life. And then what we've learned through science is, and MRIs, is that those neurological connections start to break down at a certain age. As seniors, right, we start to, sometimes the brain sort of forgets some things. But if you study music, if you're forcing your fingers to play, you're forcing the neurological connections between the parts of the brain, between the different hemispheres, right? And it makes the brain fire up in ways that are more powerful than Sudoku. Okay, so I have a lot of students that come back as adults, as retirees, because they want to keep their brain sharp, and it does. Most of all, music is art. It allows a human being to take all these dry, technically boring, but difficult techniques and use them to create emotion. That is one thing science cannot duplicate: humanism, feeling, and emotion. Thank you.
So Thank you so much. Beautifully done.